Jackson Radio Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. So I'm talking about an article. It really wasn't an article. It was a friend of mine writing to me saying, Kevin, there's a lot more to this story with the NFL, and I like your deep dive into it, and here were my thoughts. And so he sent me this piece that I said, this is a great kind of a study curriculum on what I've been talking about with the NFL. He gave the first point that you form a contract with a company, and that contract says, I'm not going to do anything to disrupt your business. And that's just a morality contract that says, you've given me money to do a job. I'm going to do the job. I'm not going to do anything more to harm your company. I'm an emissary, if you will, of the company. People are going to judge me based on the brand. The people that are currently representing the NFL brand are ruining the brand. It's that simple. This is not play. This is for real. There are billions of dollars at stake by people who have put an investment in, and they expect that investment to pay off. And it has up to this point, but now it isn't, because of all the things we're talking about, this cultural Marxism that has crept into sports, but it isn't creeping into sports, folks. It's crept into business. Business. But let's go back into the anthem piece of it, because he says, standing for the anthem or pledge is not forced patriotism any more than an atheist is being forced to pray when he respectfully stands during public prayer or removes his hat when entering a church. It's common decency and respect, not a sign of assent to a belief. And I thought, see, that's the difference. Everybody wants to act as if making these guys stand for the anthem. Making them? Since when can anybody be made to do anything? If you don't want to stand, you don't have to be in the league. But if you are going to be here, you will stand for the anthem, even if you don't believe in it. Why? Because you've made a contract to do it. You going to honor that contract or not? It's really that simple. But then he goes into the bigger picture. The motives of the protesters. He says they appear insincere. Because if they're truly protesting over civil rights, why weren't they not protesting this way a year ago? When the media bombarded us daily with stories of police officers shooting motorists, it all comes off as a post-election temper tantrum. Now, in defense of Colin Kaepernick, he did this last year, he himself. And suddenly, all the other players jumped on. And the idea was, we're going to start this new revolution. Yeah, the same as Antifa and the white college kids rioting at the schools that the taxpayers fund. How about that for irony? For irony. How about that for some irony? Oh, my goodness. He says, all I've done this for is challenge the character and the motives of the protesters rather than address the content of their protest. As an educator who hosts a debate club, I know this is usually considered fallacious, but motives do matter when it comes to protest, and character matters when it comes to those who put themselves in front of us and youth as heroes. If these athletes didn't see themselves as role models, then why bother sharing their opinions with us in the first place? And so, I believe, he writes, it is reasonable to challenge their qualifications to give us political and moral advice, just as we would do if they attempted to give us medical or mechanical advice, which is clearly beyond their expertise. Even leftists must agree, folks, that these men do not come close to being experts in politics. Being honest, most people wouldn't even ask them for advice about anything other than their sport. So whether or not these athlete protesters are right about institutional racism in modern day America is really irrelevant. Let them protest on their Twitter, their Facebook accounts. They get millions of views. Let them hold a press conference out of uniform at their mansions. Let them write a book. As celebrities, they certainly command the attention of millions of fans and the entire news media, so the football field isn't their only possible venue. And see, that's one of the critical points. And it comes back to, why are you doing this on somebody else's time and attention? They don't need the NFL. Well, I did it because we were playing a football game. Okay, great. So you got eyes on it. I get it. Could you not get eyes on it by saying, I want to have a press conference, I'm Colin Kaepernick, I'm mad about the state of things, I'm mad about this, that, or the other, and get, I don't know if you can get just as much attention, but you could get a heck of a lot of attention. Now, we can argue back and forth, all of us on, well, Kevin, he's going to get a lot more attention if you take a knee during the game. I mean, I probably don't have much of an argument against you on that. But what I will tell you is he'd get lots of attention if he did it anywhere. And we could argue degree, but he's going to get attention. He continues, some will quibble and wax intellectual over the meaning of patriotism, whether the pledge, the anthem, the flag constitute genuine patriotism. Some may even claim that at some point certain expressions of patriotism may conceivably run afoul of our faith. But such abstract intellectual and theological points miss the motives of cultural Marxism. Here's where I'm about to get deep. This was probably the best point of the piece. He says their overall assault on all forms of Western civilization and traditions. Their goal is to create a world without national sovereignty or Christianity, or a world in which Western Christian values have been swept away as the last obstacle to godless global socialism. Now, I've talked about what the left attacks. I've talked about the end game for them. By, the gay agenda is not about making gays humans and more powerful. The gay agenda is about essentially ruining your life as a Christian. It's an attack on religion. Sometimes they're actually honest and say that. They will tell you that. Think about there's so many ironies of who is attacking the NFL. The NFL is under attack with black kids, players or young men who are essentially out there protesting something that doesn't happen in the degrees that they know that it happens. It doesn't happen to them. It's anecdotal at best. You know how these guys relate to this? Oh, my friend, he got killed. Kid I grew up with got killed. But they won't tell you that the dude was a thug. Stick-up man. He was a gangbanger. They'll just tell you cops killed. Yeah, cop killed my best friend. For what? He tried to take the cop's gun and shoot him in a heroin deal? They won't tell you. Because that would ruin the narrative. He says, Mr. Kaepernick giving a press conference wearing a t-shirt glorifying murderous communist dictator Castro and Islamic radical Malcolm X should make that painfully clear. After all, what would be the response of the NFL and the media to a player wearing the image of a murderous fascist dictator? I mean, talk about your ironies. And then there was a video that we circulated that talked about the things that the NFL wouldn't let people protest. Things like breast cancer, a form of cancer or something. A guy wore a shirt. No, you can't wear that. The Dallas Cowboys wanted to wear something as a tribute to the cops who were killed by the BLM guy. Can't wear that. And it was so the things that they wouldn't let you wear that people could get behind that were bipartisan in nature, outside of maybe the cop thing. And hard to believe that I'm talking about police, the death of police, and they won't let it be we can't even say that's bipartisan. Anyway, he says, if we can recognize that these protests are merely symptomatic of the broader bad sportsmanship that we can see from the cultural Marxists and leftists in reaction to their losing the recent congressional and presidential elections, then this passes the ball to us. The question is no longer why these overpaid, undereducated, perpetual adolescents are having a public tantrum. Rather, the question becomes why we finance and support their tantrum. Our time, attention, and money. While it's hard to boycott something we truly need, I can think of a few things we need less than watching men in tights jump all over each other in pursuit of a ball. But assuming that one does feel some inner need for such fare, our high school and college football teams are eager to provide an alternative focus for our attention and money. We also, gasp, get off the couch and go play ball with our friends and children. After all, to truly love an activity is to do it rather than to merely watch it. Voyeurism is not true love. Will such a boycott yield results? Who knows? When we as Christian men choose not to patronize local strip clubs or crack dealer, do we presume that our choice will drive them out of business? Of course not. But sometimes we are compelled to fight a battle, even if it may be hopeless, simply on principle. It might not be possible to boycott every business or corporation that attacks our values, but this is a good place to start. It's find a hill of any on which to make our stand. Folks, this is what I'm talking about. The bigger picture here is what this is attacking. It isn't, it's not as benign as it seems. It's attacking the very foundation of what we believe. That's why I've covered it so much.
Kevin Jackson
on the Black Sphere Radio Network.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS or state? The secret to avoiding the IRS nightmare is to seek professional representation. My friends at Security Tax Associates provide the most cost-effective and ethical representation in the industry while helping to avoid seizures, levies, and wage garnishments. Security Tax Associates is here to ensure that the appropriate steps are taken to permanently eliminate any possibility of future tax burdens once and for all. For a free, no-obligation consultation, contact Security Tax Associates, 844-779-4177. That's 844-779-4177. 844-779-4177. Or visit them at securitytaxassociates.com.